guys, welcome back to Coach's Corner. I'm Sabrina from Royale Equestrian Center, and today we're going to be talking about how to memorize your dressage test. So let's go ahead and get into it. At some point in your riding career, you're probably going to come across a situation where you're going to have to ride through a flat or a dressage test. Whether you're going ahead to compete in either dressage or eventing, or you're going ahead to complete your Equine Canada rider levels, you will have to go through a flat or dressage test. Although you may have access to a collar in some of those situations, memorizing your test will definitely give you a distinct advantage over your competitors or towards achieving the outcome that you want. Memorizing your test is important for three main reasons. First of all, if you have your test memorized, you will be able to prepare yourself and your horse for any movements that are coming up. This will allow you to ride as effectively as possible. If you're not sure what movements are coming up, you might not be able to set your horse up for success. The second reason why it's important to memorize our tests is to ride accurately. If you're not sure where you're going, you're not going to be able to accurately hit those letters that you're supposed to. Accuracy is one of those things that every single rider can improve, and if you improve your accuracy a little bit, you will improve your test score. The third reason why it's important to memorize your test is although that you have situations where you can have a collar, you might not be able to hear what your collar is saying. I was actually in a situation where I was showing, it was one of my first shows, so I was very, very nervous. I did have a collar calling out my test, but we were at an outdoor venue. The wind was really, really windy that day, it was really loud, and I could not hear a single thing my collar said. And I actually got eliminated from that test because I went off course too many times. So it's really important to make sure that you know where you're going at all times. So now that we know why it's important to memorize your test, let's go ahead and get into the tips on how to memorize your test. Now before I start, I just want to point out that we do have all of the tests from Equestrian Canada as well as Cadora linked in the description box below. Our first tip is very simple, but it's very effective, and that's to read through your test at least once a day. You can read through it 2 or 3 times a day if you'd like, but I promise you if you read through it at least once a day, you will have that test memorized in no time. Our second tip for memorizing your test is actually a really fun way to connect with your barn buddies during this social isolation time. And that's to give your friends a call or even do a FaceTime or a Skype or a Zoom session where the two of you are testing each other on your tests. So you want to make sure that both of you have the same copy of the test and that one of you will attempt to read through your test while your friend is making sure that you don't deviate from it. If your friend notices that you deviate from your test, they have to stop you and tell you where you went wrong. And this is a really good way that you guys can both practice your tests and also spend some time with your barn buddies. So our next tip is going to be to draw out our dressage test. So this is actually a really helpful exercise for 2 reasons. One, it helps you visualize where you're going to be going for your dressage test, but it also helps you learn where your dressage letters are. So what you're going to do is draw your dressage ring on a piece of paper like this, and then you're going to draw out your test. And you want to make sure that you make a mark on every transition, change of pace, anything sometime something changes. So if we're coming in at a walk, it'll be a straight line. And if we're going to exit at a trot, maybe we do a broken line. Our fourth tip is actually to watch a video of your dressage test. There are hundreds of tests on YouTube. All you have to do is go into your search bar and search for the test and the level that you are looking for. You can even find videos that have judges' comments in them, so you can not only see what the movement is, where the test is, but also what that particular judge thought of that movement. The really cool thing about watching a test too is if you pay enough attention, you can actually start to see some of the corrections that the rider makes for that horse. That is a really, really great way to learn, especially from professional riders. Our fifth tip is something that's really, really fun, and that's actually to walk your test. Now, if you do have access to an arena, you can walk your test the same way you would do on a horse, just off of your horse. If you don't have access to an arena, We actually have a really fun video coming at you in the next couple of days where Jenna is going to show you how to set up a dressage ring either in your front yard, backyard, or even your living room. Once you have that set up, you want to make sure that you have your test with you and you walk through your pattern of movements. And our last tip comes into play when the barn is open again, when we're able to get back to our regular riding routine and back to our lovely horses, and that's to practice, practice, practice. I know it's cliche to say practice makes perfect, but it really, really does. The more that you practice your test, the more comfortable you're going to be with those movements and where they come up. It's also going to help make sure that you kind of get rid of some of those nerves when test day does come. So those are my tips for memorizing your dressage or flat test. If you want to get some extra horsey time in while we're not able to be at the barn, I recommend choosing a test and trying out one of these techniques to memorize it. I guarantee you if you try even one of them, you will have that test memorized sooner than you'd think. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys have any ideas for future videos or anything that you want to see one of your coaches from Royale Equestrian Center talk about, please leave a comment below. We're going to be making these videos every day or every other day to try and bring you some educational content while we can't be at the barn. Hope you guys are staying safe and happy, and we cannot wait to see you back at the barn. Bye for now.